Good morning once again. As a missionary, or as a member of a missionary community, the Society of the Divine Word, also known as the Divine Word Missionaries, working in over 90 countries around the world, in my almost 15 years of training to become a priest, the training took me everywhere, from building houses in Jamaica to teaching English, with this accent, in the highlands of Vietnam, to, again, in the highlands of Vietnam, working in leprosy colonies, to working in soup kitchens in Holland, not in Holland, Michigan, but in the Netherlands, to also working and living in Germany and many other places. So if you think that me speaking English with this Guatemalan accent sounds funny, try to picture me attempting to speak German. Germans were so confused. But it was in Berlin, of all places, where I got to, of the many ministers that I had in Kreuzberg, Berlin, help out at a soup kitchen run by the Missionaries of Charity, the congregation founded by Mother Teresa. And I would go there 3-4 times a week in the mornings, to do the cooking and get everything ready so we can serve our people, mostly immigrants from neighboring European countries. It is there where I learned to have more respect for preparing schnitzels. Because if you think that preparing schnitzels is easy, and it looks easy, it looks like a simple meal, when you try to do it from scratch, it's labor intense. But there I also learned another lesson that I'm reminded of today from this gospel reading. Come to me, all of you who are burdened, who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. And it was because after the long day of cooking, cleaning, serving, cleaning again, the sisters of Charity will retire to the third floor of their very small convent. The soup kitchen was located on the first level, the convent on the second and third level. It was right next to another parish. And I was privileged to be invited by them at the end of the day to go and do and pray with them the Liturgy of the Hours, evening prayer, but also to be in silence with them for 1 hour of adoration and sometimes Mass. And on the wall, there was a small crucifix behind the altar. The walls were blue. And on cut up paper, there was this quote: "Come to me, all you who have labored, and I will give you rest." So to witness these sisters, after a long day of working, they will stay, they get up usually at 3 a.m. And to go and collapse in front of the Blessed Sacrament was one of the powerful experiences of my time in Berlin. Because isn't that what we do? Isn't that why we have parishes, adoration chapels, holy hours, the Eucharist, to come and do precisely that? After a long day, after a long week, to come to Mass, to make time to come to Mass, to collapse, to bring everything that we have accumulated, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and just put it at Jesus' feet. But if we notice, the verse says, "Come to me, all of you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest." It doesn't say, "Come to me and stay and I will give you rest. Which to me, it means that, yes, we come, respite, breathe, gain energy, holy nourishment, to go back out and do it all over again. Whatever it is that we do, at work, ministries, at home, raising a family, tending to our parents, whatever it is that we do. Then the following verse, I found it fascinating. Because it says, take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart. Now, I lived in Iowa for 4 years, the first phase of my missionary training. But prior to going to Iowa, I was not familiar with farms and how they operate. But it was in Vietnam, of all places, also in Israel, that I got that image of 2 donkeys or asses, carrying the yoke. But then I was like, okay, does that mean that we come and carry that with him? Or does that mean that in first century Palestine, Jesus, a rabbi, a teacher, will invite the disciples, people to be his disciples, men and women, because he had both following him. And it was a personal invitation that in the Gospels we see that the men are named, and they had agreed to follow him. But we also read about women. Mary Magdalene being one of them. Also, the disciple to the disciples, the first one to go to carry and deliver the message of the resurrection. But to take my yoke, to take one's yoke, to take the teacher's yoke, it didn't mean to literally carry it with him. Because I don't know about you, but I don't think that I can do it. I mean, we try. But it means to take on the yoke, the worldview, the vision of the teacher. And that I learned it in Jerusalem from a rabbi giving us a lecture during a study abroad trip. To take the yoke of the teacher means not only to learn, to embrace, to accept the teachings, the worldview, the understanding that this person had, but to practice them. Jesus has been preparing the disciples every Sunday since Pentecost Sunday. I had almost 15 years to be in front of you. These people had days, if that, of mini lectures. Do not be afraid. I will be with you. And right now is, yes, come. Come back to the source. Don't forget the source from which everything flows. And I will give you rest. If we as followers know the teacher, the question is, how are we embracing the worldview, the teachings of the rabbi? How do we interpret Jesus' views on the stranger, the other? The one who is at the bottom of the society, the one who is at the outskirts of society. Like literally, my friends living still in that leprosy colony in the middle of Vietnam, the untouchables. So if there's anything that I take from this, is to ask myself, okay, do you know the teachings? Okay, how do you understand those teachings? And then the most challenging one, how are you going to embrace them and put them into practice and do likewise? And when we get tired, and when we get confused, and when humanity takes the best of us, we can always remember to come back to the source, to breathe, to rest, to be nourished, and then to come back again and continue doing our best. Amen.